Now that we've discussed the Indian Act by reading through the notes together and finding out that little bit more about them, can you please answer these two questions? A. What charter rights are inconsistent with the Indian Act? There you could think of the individual rights that you made or used rather to make that poster that are now hanging in classroom 207 in Maplewood. So think of those projects, think of that particular right that you used to advertise. Do you think that existed in this time of the Indian Act? Because that might be a good answer to the question, okay? It might be, if you compared to that time, that right might be inconsistent with the Indian Act. Okay, so again, if you have a relevant answer to that and you've got a good point to make, can you please write an answer here? I really do want to see activity from you guys at this point, okay? It's very easy just to write your name and go off, but I want to see some people typing out some answers here, okay? Because then I'll very clearly know who's active, who's online, who's in our social studies class ready to learn. B. How did the Indian Act infringe the numbered treaties? Now, I use the word infringe because we learned that in class. That was actually a word that quite regularly appeared on PATs. So, whenever we had our PAT classes in school, I would quite often put a list of no more than 5 words that often appeared in PATs. Infringed was amongst them. If you still can't remember what that is, I would recommend that you look up the dictionary now to find out what that word means. So, how did the Indian Act infringe the numbered treaties? Again, if you have a good answer for that question from the notes, from your own knowledge, maybe from your own opinion, can you please write down an answer here? Now, I would please ask you to write your name and your answer, just so I know when they're all up there, okay, so-and-so has made a comment, so-and-so has answered it, and so on, okay? But please do try your best and add a comment to those, or sorry, an answer to these questions now. Okay, our final part for today's lesson. What is assimilation? A source analysis. Okay, I know a lot of us looked at the whole idea of assimilation already, but again, I want to go over it so we can all move on tomorrow. To find out a little bit more about what on earth assimilation is, we're going to do a quick source analysis. A source analysis, do not panic, is simply what we've been doing for PATs. Okay, so in a PAT question or test, we were looking at what we call sources. So it might have been a cartoon, or it might have been an image, or it might have been some form of information. Then, based on that information or that image or that cartoon, we would have answered questions. Same idea here, but in this case, images. I'm going to get you guys to look at some images, which is the source, and analyze it, okay? I'm going to ask you a couple of things about it. So, scroll down through the notes to slides 29 and 31. Select one of the images and describe what you see in it, at least 3 points. Now, let's go to our notes on Google Class. Again, you're going to scroll down until you find all of the notes uploaded into one comment. Click on Chapter 2, Charter Rights, and scroll down until you find those 3 slides. So keep scrolling until you find the images. We're going to keep going. Now, these are the 3 images I would like you to use for this last part of today's lesson. What I would like you to do is to choose one of these slides. This slide, or this slide. Because once you've chosen one of those slides, you are going to do the following. Select one of the images, or the images on the slide, and describe what you see with at least 3 points. Okay, so I even give you an example here. I said I selected the image on slide 29. In one image, there is a woman who has very long hair. She seems to be wearing clothes made from animal skin. This might mean she is part of an Aboriginal tribe, like the Inuits. In the second image, she is very different, and so on. I want you to upload the answer to this question on to Google Classroom at the top here. Okay, again, I am recording this slightly prior to the class, but I assure you at the top of this page on Monday will be a question. Now, for some reason, it's not really loading, guys, at the moment. My internet's being a bit strange. But there will be a question up here at the top of the page. That is where I'd like you to answer the questions, where I'd like you to add your description of your chosen image, chosen slide. So once you've done that and you've submitted it, that is you done for social studies for the day. But I do want everyone who is online, who is in their social studies class, to answer that question. Okay? All right, guys, well done. Thank you very much for logging on to another social studies class. I will talk to you all tomorrow. Don't forget, you're more than welcome to ask me questions via Google Classroom or that Word document. All right, talk to you later.